My name is Michael Stamps. Welcome back to Missouri Tigers on the side. Today we're continuing a series of NFL draft profiles on the five Missouri Tigers that have the best chances of getting drafted in the 2025 NFL draft. That's just around the corner here on Thursday evening. It starts with the first round, second or day two on Friday, then day three on Saturday. And day three is where this guy looks like he could have the best odds of getting selected. That guy is wide receiver Theo Wease Jr. Spent 2 years with the Tigers, and became a fan favorite for a variety of reasons. Let's get into Theo Wease's NFL draft profile for this upcoming draft class. Measured at 6'3", 203 pounds, 32 and 1/8 inch arms, 78 3 and 3/8 inches wingspan, and then a 4.56 40-yard dash, 31-inch vertical, 9'9" broad jump. So good measurements there. Again, a pretty big indicator of the type of player Weiss is, which we'll get into in a moment. 2024 season, 884 receiving yards, 4 touchdowns on 60 receptions. I pinpointed 4 big games that Weiss recorded during the year as well, just to pinpoint and mark and display Weiss's performances this year. 13 receptions, 149 yards in week two against Buffalo, 4 receptions for 70 yards and 2 touchdowns in week nine against Oklahoma, 4 receptions, 100 yards in week 12 against Arkansas, and then in the Music City Bowl, 5 receptions, 75 yards and a touchdown before getting hurt later in the game with a wrist injury. Again, just very consistent, did a lot for the Tigers this year, and in very weird fashion, kind of became Missouri's receiver one. Mix of more attention on Luther Burden, Missouri's perceived star receiver, and Luther still did his thing throughout the year and was productive in his own sense. Not as productive as his sophomore season the year before, which allowed Theo Wease Jr. to step into a not necessarily the receiver one role, but he had the production of Missouri's top receiver. Again, kind of puzzling to look back on, and still questions revolving around why that ended up being the case. But it happened. Weiss was a huge player in Missouri's offense, not only on the field, but off the field as well. Great leader, emotional consistency, and kind of was able to rally the receiver room. And Luther Bird made that comment about Weiss at the NFL 2025 NFL Combine, saying something similar, that he kind of galvanized the receiver room. With his experience under his belt. 2023, his first year with Missouri, 682 receiving yards, 49 receptions, and 6 touchdowns. The Missouri offense as a whole in 2024 was not as productive, especially on the passing end of things. So that makes a little bit of a difference, a little bit of more touchdowns in his first season, but more receptions and receiving yards in his second season. More on Weiss as a player, ranked 270th in Matt Miller's 600-man big board, which is a pretty good indicator of kind of where some of these guys stand. So that would be right outside of the undraft, or right outside of the seventh round in that priority undrafted range. Specifically with Weiss as a player, good route runner, a consistent route runner, whether it's in the short area of the field, middle area of the field, or deep down the field. Not many flaws in this route running and footwork there. Great ball tracker, great at high pointing the ball, uses his size very well. At 6'3" and 200 pounds, he plays physical, he plays strong. Uh, a lot of catches throughout his years, all of his years, including his first three at Oklahoma, but primarily his last two at Missouri, are indicators that he is a physical football player that can go up and get the ball and use his size to his advantage. Again, reliable hands as well, not otherworldly, but is able to come down with some challenging catches. Has a good catch radius as well with that wingspan and with that height. Again, that's a big part of what he does as a receiver. The other part of that, and athletic profile is his athleticism in general, which is just not out of this world either. A 4.56 40 is by no means bad, but he does not have blazing speed or agility. So he doesn't have the twitch or burst that some NFL teams may be looking for, but that's not really his main skill set. Again, he is a route runner. Get him towards the boundary, send him towards the end zone in red zone areas, and that's kind of an area where he'll succeed. So something to keep in mind there. He's just so consistent, and that's kind of the name of the game for Theo Wease Jr. as a Missouri Tiger. One other thing is his age. He's 23 years old. It is his fifth year in college football, so a little more experience. Good for the college team, not something the NFL teams are exactly looking for, especially when he never eclipsed any crazy stats like a 1,000-yard mark or over 10 touchdowns or anything like that. He was a consistent role receiver, especially with Oklahoma. Obviously, that role increased with Missouri, and he kind of became a star there, but still not out of this world production there. And then injury history as well. He suffered a wrist injury in the Music City Bowl and had other injuries at Oklahoma. So I don't think the injury against Iowa is the biggest deal in the world, but there's this bit of a streaky past over his multiple seasons of college football with injuries. So something to keep an eye on there. Overall, consistent player, reliable player, very emotionally consistent. He's a great leader, and he's going to give you good routes to the middle of the field towards the end zone, and he's not going to drop a lot of passes. That's all I have for you guys today on Theo Wease Jr. Make sure you are keeping an eye out for the rest of our draft profiles. Thanks.